Now, there have only been two known black blades in the series, one owned by Mihawk and the other owned by Ryuma, and both of them just so happen to have been owned by the greatest swordsman of their time. So clearly there has to be some sort of tight criteria in order to turn a sword into a black blade. So this is how I think Zoro will upgrade his sword into a black blade. Now, what I'm going to be doing in this video is breaking down the criteria in which it takes to turn a sword into a black blade, and I'm going to speculate on when Zoro will reach this point. If you're in for more videos just like this, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and watch it all the way to the end to tell me that you enjoyed. Now, without any further ado, let's get right into the video. So, why are people like Oden and Roger not able to turn their swords into a black blade? Well, you would think they possess the power needed to do such a thing. I mean, Roger was the king of the pirates after all. And well, it is my belief that one of the criteria needed to turn a sword into a black blade is to have a personal relationship with your blade and treat it like its own person with its own desires. Now, I know, okay, that sounds crazy, but if you look at the evidence that I got, you might reconsider. I mean, look at Enma, for example. Enma has clearly shown that it's had its own will that separates itself from Zoro's will. I mean, ever since Enma has first appeared in Wano, it's been draining Zoro's haki at random times, and it's been doing its own thing. And I mean, hey, it's still doing its own thing in chapter 1032. Enma is still draining Zoro's haki and manifesting its will at random times. But it's okay if that isn't enough evidence to convince you. I got some more. So in the Battle of Marineford, before he fights Luffy, Mihawk says, "Forgive me right here, but this power knows no restraint." And he said this in reference to his blade. And the best way that I could kind of explain what I think that he meant is like, okay, so you have a dog on a leash, right? And sure, the dog goes wherever you want because you control the dog, right? But if you let the dog go to the things that he wants to do, maybe he wants to pee on that fire hazard, maybe he on fire hydrant. So maybe he wants to pee on the mailbox. Maybe he wants to do this. Maybe he wants to do that. You let him get his way sometimes, and he'll be more likely to cooperate with you in the future because he kind of sees like, okay, you respect him a little bit, but you can't let him do everything that he wants. And that's where the cursed blades kind of come in because they just want to do whatever they want to do. So I believe most swordsmen in One Piece, they view their swords as just a simple weapon, but they don't view it as its own entity, and that limits them from being able to turn it into a black blade because I believe that the sword has to cooperate a bit if you want it to turn into a black blade. Because think about it like a new crew member, like how Luffy I don't want to say tamed, but he changes a new crew member and they want to join, like Sanji didn't want to join, but Luffy was able to convince him. I believe that with a black blade, what you have to do is you have to sort of kind of convince the blade to change for you. You have to be a person that the blade wants to change for. And that kind of leads me to my next point. I believe that for the second line of criteria, that the user has to be a conquerors haki user, but not just any type of conquerors haki user. They have to be able to use conquerors coding. And I mean, now that we know that Zoro has Conquerors Haki, it's kind of obvious that Mihawk and Ryuma also have Conquerors Haki. I mean, they both have the grand ambition of wanting to become the world's greatest swordsman. And if you look at their ambition, you can kind of see that their ambition is more so like a pure ambition because they don't have any reason for wanting to be the world's greatest swordsman, but it's kind of just like this innate drive within them that pushes them to want to be the greatest. The best way I can explain this is like kind of like a basketball player that they don't have any reason or sad backstory for which they want to become the greatest basketball player in the world, but they simply just want to become the greatest basketball player in the world. And all credit to Moritz because he came up with that, so I'm just taking that from him. But so just to reiterate, I believe that pouring Conqueror's coding and armament haki into the black blade over time turns the blade black, or at least it's just one of the criterias in order to meet being able to turn a blade into a black blade. Now, I believe the first point kind of explained why Roger and Oden didn't necessarily have black blades. It's because they didn't treat their weapons like people. They had personalities, but they didn't treat them like them. Now, I believe that Zoro hasn't met any of these criteria yet, actually, because he does have Conqueror's coding, but he's not mastered it yet. And as for treating the sword like a person, he doesn't quite do that. I mean, he's had the wado ichimonji for such a long time, and he doesn't even know the spirit that's living within the wado ichimonji. So comment below if you think that there are any other criteria that Zoro needs to meet in order to turn his blade black. And if you enjoyed this video, I got 4 other videos here on the screen that you might also enjoy, and a whole channel's worth of videos that you might enjoy. So be sure to like, subscribe, and as always, you guys keep the video going in the comments. Have a blessed day.